Hey Annie,
Yes,
what are your hobbies?
reading.
Cool, and what are you doing right now?
I'm reading a book.
Any book, or are you reading Harry Potter again?
I'm reading a book by. Okay, fine. I'm reading Harry Potter.
Got to show you something amazing.
I'll be there soon. Hi guys. That was embarrassing, but as you can see, I am rereading Harry Potter for the ninth time in my life. And in this video, I am going to discuss something related to why I am doing this and what are my findings. My name is Anangsha Alammyan and welcome back to my channel. This is a very hard video for me to make because like most children in India, okay, let me rephrase that. Like most 90s kids or millennials of India, I grew up reading Harry Potter. It played a major part in my childhood, and Harry Potter and JK Rowling are the major reasons why I am a reader today, why I have read so many books, and why I enjoy reading so much. But recently, as many of you might be knowing, the author has been in the news for the wrong reasons. I don't want to make this a political video, but JK Rowling has made a lot of comments on Twitter that are not that are very offensive to the trans community, to the LGBTQ plus community, and her comments are not just offensive because she has so much power and such a huge following. Her comments are actually damaging to the community as a whole because she can actually leverage her power to bring hate to the community and shame the people of the community as a whole. So that is a very dangerous and a very what shall I say, a very wrong position to be in. And as somebody who wholeheartedly supports the community, I do not think what she is doing is right. And that is what has made it so conflicting for me because I grew up loving Harry Potter and suddenly I'm seeing this author in a whole new light, and it's very difficult for me to separate the art from the artist. Keeping that in mind, I would like to discuss what it's like to read Harry Potter as an adult in today's times. I do not mean in any way to promote JK Rowling's works. I don't mean to, this is not a Harry Potter promotional video. This is not like 10 reasons why you should read Harry Potter. This is just about my feelings, about how my perspective changed as I grew older. And I would try my very, very, very best to separate who JK Rowling is from what Harry Potter fandom is or what the world of Harry Potter is. So this video is not about JK Rowling. This video is about Harry Potter and what it feels like to read the 7 books as an adult. When I was 11, the only books I used to read were Enid Blyton's and Nancy Drew's, a few Hardy Boys. Those were the only books that I read. Then one day, my friend Stuti, she came up to me and said that this is a new book. It was a copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and she told me that it's about magic. Back then, I had not read fantasy fiction. I did not know what to expect. I thought magic would mean Jadoo Tona, which we used to see in the Hindi TV serials of those times. And I told her, no, I am definitely not going to read a book about Jadoo Tona. And she told me, she just said one thing. You read it and you will know why this book is my favorite. Now, Stuti was as much of an avid reader as I was, and I trusted her opinion. So I thought I should give this book a try, and when I went home and read it, I just couldn't stop. The whole world was so amazing. The prospect of receiving a letter on your 11th birthday and discovering this alternate reality where you can perform magic, you can just wave your wand and make things fly, and having new friends, going to a residential school, staying in a hostel, a magical castle with the ceiling matching the weather outside. It was amazing. My mind was blown and I was sucked into the world. And that was the first time I discovered Harry Potter. After that, I read all the 5 books. I think till then Goblet of Fire was out, so Order of the Phoenix was probably not out yet. I don't exactly remember, but I read all the books in a stretch and I fell in love. And then I had to wait 2 years to read the next book. So in that time, I read those whole 5 books for 3 or 4 more times and I literally memorized everything. So yeah, I fell in love with reading because of Harry Potter, and even now I'm thankful to the series for making me discover the magic of books. I am 27, well, I'm almost 28 now, and even now I feel the magic of the books has not dampened or dimmed in any way. Because when I read those books, even now as an adult, I still felt that connection, that sense of belonging with the Harry Potter universe. It's not like the books were amazing or anything, because to be honest, to be very fair, the plot is not that great, and since we discover only the parts of the world that is relevant to Harry, the world building is not very good. I mean, there are large loopholes. I could make a whole video talking about the loopholes in the Harry Potter universe, but for now, let's just say that if I had read the books as an adult, I probably would not have read beyond book 3 or 4. But as a kid, and because it was my first fantasy novel, I fell in love, and you can say I left bits and pieces of my young self in those books. And when I was reading them as an adult, I could remember those certain scenes, and I could remember my excitement in school when I read them. And the flashes of memory came back to me, and it was almost as if discovering a part of myself that I had forgotten completely. It is said that each book tells 2 stories. One is the story of the book that the author has written, and the second is the story of you, the reader, and how you have grown and progressed over the ages. That is what rereading Harry Potter as an adult made me discover, that my own story and how I have evolved as a reader. And for that, I'll always be thankful to Harry Potter, irrespective of what the author says. Yes, it's hard for me, but I'm trying to just relive the magic of the books and not looking at everything in a larger perspective. For those of you who have not read Harry Potter, this section might have some spoilers. When I was young, the Dursleys, Vernon and Petunia, they appeared more like caricatures, like characters to make fun of, and Harry never took them seriously, so as a reader, neither did I. But looking back, like looking at it now through an adult's perspective, I am pretty sure whatever the Dursleys did to Harry qualifies as child abuse. There's just one line from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and this line goes this way: Harry was used to spiders because the cupboard under the stairs was full of them, and that was where he slept. Well, this might not sound like much, but remember, Harry is only 11 years old. And if an 11-year-old thinks that it's normal to sleep with spiders in a tiny room under the stairs, then you can imagine how life on a daily basis might be for him. And let me tell you, the Dursleys were not poor. They lived in a 4-bedroom apartment. The parents had 1 bedroom to themselves. One was for guests, one was for Dudley, their son, and the fourth bedroom was solely for Dudley's toys. Harry, being a child, did not deserve space to occupy in the bedroom also. So he was kept in the cupboard under the stairs. Another line from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone goes like this: Perhaps it had something to do with living in a dark cupboard. But Harry had always been small and skinny for his age. He looked even smaller and skinnier than he really was, because all he had to wear were old clothes of Dudley's, and Dudley was about 4 times bigger than he was. Again, this might give the impression that the Dursleys were poor and that Harry lived in a poor family who could not afford to give him clothes. But these are the same Dursleys who gave their son Dudley 39 presents on his birthday. And what did they get Harry on his birthday? A pair of Uncle Vernon's old socks and just 1 coin. This is a clear case of favoritism and bullying. Okay, for bullying, I have another line from the book that goes like this: The Dursleys bought Dudley and Pierce large chocolate ice creams at the entrance, and then, because the smiling lady in the van had asked Harry what he wanted before they could hurry him away, they bought him a cheap lemon ice pop. It wasn't bad either, Harry thought, licking it as they watched the gorilla scratching his head. This is wrong on so many levels, it breaks my heart. While some readers justify Petunia's behavior that she herself had a traumatizing childhood, that her sister got admission into a school, Hogwarts, which she wanted to go but she couldn't because she didn't have magical blood. So she is just projecting her own insecurities and her own fear on Harry. But Petunia is a grown woman. Is it fair for a grown woman to treat an 11-year-old boy like this just because she didn't have a happy childhood? Other readers also argue that since Harry himself does not consider the Dursleys' behavior as abuse, it probably isn't, and we are just looking too much into it. An important point to note here is that people who have been abused all their lives, they have a very low threshold for niceness. Harry, who was alone most of his childhood, who never had any friends, he learned to accept small acts of kindness as huge generosities. So it's only natural that someone like Harry kept making excuses for Petunia's behavior because he simply didn't know that he also deserved love from his uncle and aunt. And that is why, in the end, Harry forgives the Dursleys in spite of it all. But as readers, can we forgive Petunia for the damage she did? The second Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, begins with a very hilarious incident where it's Harry's birthday, but he hasn't received any cards from any of his friends back at Dudley. And he pretends to do magic when he isn't even capable of doing magic because his wand, his school books, even his owl are locked away by Mr. Dursley. So Harry says few random words, hocus pocus, squiggly wiggly, jiggly pokery, and then he pretends to do magic and Dudley gets scared. Dudley runs off telling his mom what had happened, and Petunia gets very angry. She makes Harry do a lot of work. And I quote, Harry was made to finish a number of tasks while his cousin looked on, which included cleaning the windows, washing the car, mowing the lawn, trimming the flower beds, pruning and watering the roses, and repainting the garden bench while the July afternoon sun blazed overhead, burning the back of his neck. Once he was done, Harry was given a pitiful dinner of 2 pieces of bread and some cheese, while the entire family of the Dursleys had gorged on a pudding of whipped cream and sugared violets and sizzling roast pork. It sure feels like overworking and underfeeding. After Dobby famously tipped the pudding on the kitchen floor and Harry received an owl saying that he was not allowed to do magic outside of school, Vernon was very happy that he could do whatever he wanted and he stood no risk of Harry harming him by magic. So he just locked Harry up. He even fitted Harry's window with a mesh so Harry could not escape. If it hadn't been for the Weasley brothers who came to rescue Harry, probably he might have even missed the second year of his school. After being locked up in his dark room with very little food for himself, Harry finds himself having some dark thoughts. Supposing he was still alive in another 4 weeks, what would happen if he didn't turn up at Hogwarts? So after that, Harry is rescued by Ron and his brothers. So we see the end of this depressing episode. But before the start of the holidays, when Harry is about to be reunited with the Dursleys, Hermione asks him tentatively, your aunt and uncle must be proud though, won't they, when they hear what you did this year? At this, Harry scoffs. Proud? Are you mad? All those times I could have died and I didn't manage it. They'll be furious. These are pretty dark thoughts coming from a 12-year-old, don't you think? I am not an expert in mental health and children's rights. But from all that I have read and everything that Harry himself told us, all the terrible things that the Dursleys did to him border on child abuse. No wonder poor Harry always craved for a proper family and had a dark, self-deprecating sense of humor. And the saddest of all, never chose to blame the Dursleys. Well, I am a little sorry to end this video on a dark note, but when I was rereading the first 2 Harry Potter books, I couldn't stop thinking about how Harry was bullied and abused and starved in the Dursleys' home, which was supposedly his safe haven. So I will come to the discussion of books 3 and 4 in the next video. I thought I would wrap up everything in a single video, but it turned out to be pretty long. So let's make it a series. I'll be back again soon with the next video. So till then, Stay tuned and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you have recently reread Harry Potter as an adult or if you have recently read it for the first time, let me know what are your thoughts in the comments. In spite of everything that the author has done, I am still a Potterhead and I'm always up for Harry Potter discussions. If you like this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Also, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.